knocking my terms again. Good evening, everyone. For those present here, and for anyone who's watching us on Hartford Cable Access Television Station, I want to thank you for joining us this evening. If you don't know, the Cable Access Television Station is Frontier for 6032, and Channel 96 is if you have Comcast. I'm now calling to order the Committee of a Whole meeting on March 24th, 2025. Here with us this evening, to my right, we have Councilwoman Rosado, Councilman Milcar Hernandez, Councilwoman Kelly Bilodeau, Assistant Majority Leader T.J. Clark, my Majority Leader Marilyn Rossetti, and I'm Shirley Surgeon, your Council President. And to my left, we have our esteemed Corporation Counsel. Jonathan, thank you for joining us tonight. We also have our Town Clerk. We also have our Councilman John Gale and Councilman Josh Mitchum. And on joining us virtually, we have Councilman Alex Thomas. So again, I'm calling the meeting to order, and we only have one item on the agenda, and that item is a accompanying communication from Mayor Arunan to deliver the annual report to the Court of Common Council on the state of the City of Hartford. This is being done in accordance with Chapter 5, Section 2I of the City of Hartford Charter. It will be a privilege to deliver the annual report to the Court of Common Council from the Mayor on the state of the City of Hartford. And we're going to get started at 6 p.m. And the Mayor is here with us. So Mayor, welcome. Please, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Council President Surgeon and all of the members of Council. Thank you to all of my directors and everybody who works for the City of Hartford for all the hard work you do. And thank you most of all to the residents of the City of Hartford. It's the people of the City of Hartford who get to determine the state of the city. I just get to give the speech. But it is an honor to be with you this evening. Look, progress is never made by a mayor or council alone. It's by thousands of voices calling for change. It's by thousands upon thousands of hands actually doing the work. We look to Washington and we see chaos and callousness and cruelty. But here in Hartford, we're getting things done. I'm proud to stand before you today and tell you about the state of our city. But you all see it already. You see it in the windows of new businesses. They're opening weekly in our city, with new dreams beginning. You see it in the shining eyes of new kids playing on one of our newly opened night gyms across thousands of places in the city. It shines, it brightens with the safety you feel when an officer walks a beat in your neighborhood. That sense of safety, that stronger sense of community. Our city is strong because we are strong. Our city is unstoppable because we are unstoppable. It is fearless because we embrace the future. Last year, I stood before you all as a brand new mayor, dreaming about what our city could be. But I'm here today to talk about how we are getting things done in three important ways: by investing in safer and stronger communities, by fighting to make our city more affordable for all Hartford residents, and by putting our kids first. And we're doing all of these things by doing things differently, leading the way and bringing people together to address challenges that have plagued our city for far too long. I want to start by talking about neighborhood investment, about what that means to me. It means that every single one of our neighborhoods has as much potential as our downtown. It means being able to walk to a coffee shop in your neighborhood. Council President, I think you know about that? Yes. Instead of having to get in a car and drive into our downtown. It means that parts of our city that have been overlooked for far too long are finally getting the attention they deserve. Just a couple weeks ago, we announced $5 million to invest in commercial corridors throughout our city on Upper Albany, Upper Main Street, Park Street, and Maple Ave. Block by block, storefront by storefront, together we are transforming our neighborhoods. At that announcement, Yvonne Alexander, who's a longtime business owner in North Hartford, said, "This is the first time in 30 years someone has invested in my neighborhood." And Yvonne is one of so many small business owners across our city whose investment of dollars, dreams, and hard work is transforming our city. And he's joined us here tonight along with 4 other small business owners who've started businesses in the last year in the city of Hartford. I just want to take a moment to thank them for their investment in our city. But investing in our commercial corridors is just one part of the equation. We have to make sure that you feel safe walking from your home to one of those new businesses and that your neighborhood feels safe. We started by beginning walk beats in the city of Hartford, getting officers out in neighborhoods, walking a beat, talking to residents face to face, building trust and relationships between the Hartford residents and police officers. I got to walk the beat on Albany Ave when we first launched this with Officers Diana and Russell. And Officer Diana grew up right on Albany Ave, on Albany and Irving. And Officer Russell told me that his dad was a Hartford cop and walked that exact same beat a few decades ago. You know, we're joined tonight by Officer Russell and Community Service Officer Badu, and I just want to thank you for your commitment to our neighborhoods. But I watched folks cheer them as they walked down Albany Ave, people leaning out of storefronts and windows, and it reminded me that as we build a modern police department, we can't lose sight of the things that just work. Walking a beat works. Community policing just works. We've also gotten more cops onto patrol. We've reduced 911 call times. We took over 320 illegal guns off the street last year alone. And we planned early to get dangerous criminals off of our streets before the summer months hit. So I just want to take a minute to thank our Hartford police officers who keep our streets safe day in and day out. In addition, we're continuing to invest in better technology to make our department better. In fact, this budget invests in a new technology that will remotely monitor ATV activity so that we can find when ATV drivers stop, we can catch them, impound the vehicles, and get them off of our streets for good. For far too long, neighborhood residents have complained about dangerous, noisy, and frankly illegal ATVs running up and down of our streets. And in the past, we've had to throw our hands up in the air because it's just too dangerous for cops to go engage in high-speed chases. But we're finally taking meaningful action, and this summer is going to be different. Our police are essential partners in public safety here in the city, but we cannot ask them to do everything for society. And that's why last year I stood before you and said we were going to create an Office of Violence Prevention. And I'm proud to say that it's not only up and running, it's getting results. For the first time ever, we have a public safety strategy that coordinates work between both our police department and things like Sports and Rec and the Department of Children and Families, our nonprofit providers and hospitals. And that work has never been more important than it is today. I'm going to give you one example of one of the many ways in which it could work, in which it works. When someone arrives at a hospital suffering from gunshot wounds, we know that that person, that victim, and their friends and family are statistically among the most likely to be the victims or perpetrators of the next crime in our city. And so in Hartford, we created a hospital-based violence intervention program that shows up at the scene, that ensures that those victims have the tools they need right away to heal from the physical, the mental, and the emotional trauma they've faced without falling into future cycles of violence. Now, right now in Washington, President Trump is cutting vital public service funding, and this program is set to lose all of its funding, federal funding, in the next year. And so this budget that we are submitting steps up and fills that gap to ensure that it can continue for another year into the future. Washington likes to talk tough when it comes to public safety, but they don't get things done. We do, and we've got the numbers to prove it. Last year, the city of Hartford had the lowest number of shootings that we've had in at least 2 decades here in this city. And so I would encourage those in Washington who pretend to care about public safety, that if they want to see what actually works, come here to the city of Hartford, because we're making it work. We know that public safety isn't just about fighting crimes. It can be about fighting fires as well. And look, we are in the midst of negotiations with fire, but rest assured, we value and respect the work of our firefighters. And while they're here with us, I just want to take a moment to thank our firefighters who keep us safe day in and day out. Now let me be clear, it won't matter how safe or economically vibrant this city is if you can't afford to live in it. And that's why with rising costs nationally, we are fighting hard to make sure that Hartford is a city that is affordable to all residents. And it starts with a budget that includes 0 tax increases on our residents. In a tough budget year, when cities nationally are dealing with record deficits and tax increases, we fought hard to toe the line, to keep the line on taxes without cutting vital city services. But we also know that residents are feeling the rising costs most when it comes to housing. The roots of our housing affordability crisis come from decades of disinvestment. For too long, Hartford has had the lowest rate of home ownership in the state of Connecticut. That means that Hartford families are locked out of pathways to generational wealth creation that families all around us in surrounding communities have had access to for decades. But we are going to change that. With the help of this council, we invested $6.5 million in housing in the city of Hartford that will lead to home ownership for Hartford residents. And we're working on ways to make it easier to afford a mortgage as well. In the year ahead, we're going to make it possible for employees of the city of Hartford, including our firefighters and our teachers and our police officers, to purchase a home in the city of Hartford without having to pay a single cent for their mortgage. Because if you teach our kids, if you keep our streets safe, if you run into burning buildings to keep people safe, you deserve to be able to afford a home in this city, and we're going to help you do it. But as we all know, housing in the city of Hartford isn't just about owning a home. It's about being able to afford to rent an apartment, and having that apartment be clean and safe and provide you with a sense of peace of mind. That's why I'm working with council to make sure that renter's insurance is more accessible and affordable to all Hartford residents in the year ahead. And it's also why I stood here a year ago and made a promise to all of you and to any bad landlord in this city that if you refuse to take care of your property, you will not be able to hide in the city of Hartford. And so we got to work. We created a problem landlords task force, and last year that task force came up with a list of the worst landlords across our city. And it didn't just list their business names. We published their names and the cities they lived in. So now if you Google those bad actors, you will know that they made their money fleecing Hartford renters. No more hiding. We also made it clear that we would enforce violations across the board on all the properties they owned. And we increased penalties and enforcement for all problem landlords across our city. They won't get away with it anymore. You know, one of these landlords tried to do to me what many problem landlords across our city have done to renters who've complained about poor living conditions. They threatened to sue me personally because they wanted me to sit down and shut up. But make no mistake about it, I will never stop speaking out or fighting for the residents in Hartford, and I know this council won't either. Finally, I want to talk to you about our top priority, our children. Investing in education is more than just a goal. It's a responsibility that we have to our young people, to our teachers, and to their families. That's why last July we nominated a slate of 5 new members to the Board of Education, and we're working together to address the long-term fiscal stability of Hartford Public Schools while ensuring that every single school is transformed into a center of excellence. And then we launched Hartford's Blue Ribbon Commission on Education with 3 incredible co-chairs to bring every party to the same table, representatives of the superintendent with members of the teachers union, a council along with Board of Ed, parents with state legislators and funders, all at the same table, all looking at the same set of challenges, all working together to a common set of solutions. It was an unprecedented collaboration in this city. And after 7 months of hard work and really difficult conversations, last month the Commission released its full report. And we're going to work together in the days and months ahead to make sure that we work to implement these findings. Now, I've said this several times before. I'm a dad of public school kids. This is personal to me. We have to get this right. And to our teachers, we respect you, we value you, we're grateful to you. We also believe that you deserve a raise. And that's why our new Board of Ed supported 15% raises for Hartford Public School teachers over the next 3 years to ensure that our school teachers are getting what they deserve. And this budget we submitted includes investments in early childhood, including raises for our early childhood teachers on the Department of Children, Families, and Youth, to ensure that all of our kids are showing up at kindergarten ready to learn. But educating and protecting our kids has to happen outside of school as well. You know, a few months back, a grandmother stopped me on the street and told me how grateful she was that her grandson didn't spend the past summer on the streets. That instead, he was one of the over 1,000 kids in our city who were part of our sports and rec night gyms over the summer. Investing in sports and recreation is investing in our kids, is investing in their safety, and is investing in our community. Just like we did when we invested in more lifeguards and better pools. And now, Hartford has more swim classes here in our city than any of our surrounding towns. Each and every one of these efforts have required us to think differently and work collaboratively to get things done. As Harry S. Truman once said, it's amazing what you can accomplish when nobody cares who gets the credit. For instance, I would bet almost nobody in the city of Hartford noticed when the city of Hartford and the MDC agreed on a historic agreement around MS4 water requirements. In fact, many of you probably don't know what that means. But it made a difference in almost all of your families. I'll give you the Cliff Notes version. The city of Hartford and the MDC had been squabbling for decades, and because of that, we were not meeting our clean water requirements under the EPA. And so this administration hit reset on that relationship. We came to an agreement, and in the final few days before Trump took office, the Biden-appointed administrator of the EPA came to the city of Hartford to applaud a historic agreement that will mean cleaner water for Hartford families for generations to come. And we brought that same spirit of collaboration to address our biggest fiscal challenge, which is our office vacancy issue. Bringing together partners from the state and the CRDA to work on a joint solution to right-size our commercial space and set the city on a sustainable tax-based plan for years to come. We also entered into a historic partnership with our neighbors in East Hartford to look at whether we can pool services to more efficiently address our resources while planning more effectively on issues like economic development and housing, on social services and transportation. And we're dreaming of new ways in which Hartford can be a regional and national leader. We just recently created the Office of Arts, Culture, and Entertainment to make Hartford the arts capital of New England. And when it comes to innovation, we're creating an AI institute that brings together our corporate community with higher ed, ensuring that Hartford is at the center of AI innovation, and more importantly, that our workforce is among the most prepared in the country when it comes to the technology and jobs of tomorrow. It'll ensure that our workers and our students aren't left out of the changes and opportunities created by the advanced technology of the future. On issue after issue, we're identifying problems, we're coming up with solutions, and then bringing folks together to deliver for the people of Hartford. So while Donald Trump and his boss Elon Musk wreak havoc in DC, while progress seems so far out of reach, here in the city of Hartford, we don't fight each other. We fight for each other. We refuse to accept the limitations of our past. We blaze a new path towards our future. We might disagree, but we refuse to put each other down. We work together to lift up our city. Because here in the city of Hartford, no one is invisible. There is nothing that is too big for us to dream or too small to matter. And so I am proud to stand before you tonight as your mayor and say that the state of our city is strong because the people of our city are strong, and we will never, ever back down. Thank you. God bless you. Have a great night.